guys, welcome back to CCC. In today's video, it will actually be over a span of a week or two. But this video, it is actually nighttime, so I do not have coffee with me because I do not need caffeine before bed. And it's nighttime, so I'm like in my PJs and all comfy. But this video was like super highly requested, so I really wanted to get this into y'all. This is my favorite study method. I don't know what I'm gonna call a study method yet. I feel like it needs a super cool name because it's like my favorite. I love it so much. And so many of you have asked me, hey, you said you were going to do a video on your favorite study method. When is it going to be? So you guys finally get your wish. I'm really excited about this because I shared this study method with 2 friends. It just made me so excited. I'm like, I want to tell everyone about this. It works so well for me and it's just great. So let's get started with the video. So I'm basically just going to walk you guys through like what I do and how I do it, why I do it. And then after I walk you through my most recent study using this method, I'm going to study using this method and record it all and put it at the end of this video for you guys, so you can just like watch me study and see how I do it, instead of just me explaining how I do it. So hopefully that'll all be in there. I do have a time limit because I need subscribers. Subscribe, please. Thank you. So I'm gonna wait while you guys like subscribe real quick. Alright, I hope you subscribed. So, this is my Bible that I used for everything. And I'll also be using my study life application study Bible in this video. And my studying notebook. So, let me just walk you guys through it and hope you all like it. Alright, so I'm going to first show you the first passage I did with this, and actually I'm only on my second passage for this method, but I literally love it so much. It's still building. I think I've gotten it at a place where I like it on this second one. I'll explain a little bit more of that later. But I think I've gotten in a place where I like it. So it's like, I just gotta get this out there and share. So, the first passage that I did using this method was Isaiah 40. And the first thing I do, I gotta open it to Isaiah 40 and open my notebook to the first page of this study. And the first thing I do for my studies is, I'm like, alright, where am I in life right now? What do I need help on? And where am I struggling? And yeah, like what kind of encouragement do I need from the Lord? And so during this time, it was December of 2020, I just needed comfort. There were so many things in my life going on and just so much that stressed me out and overwhelmed me, and I was like, God, I need some comfort right now. So I used the handy dandy YouVersion Bible app and I typed in comfort into the little search bar. It's down at the bottom menu of the YouVersion app. And I found one verse on comfort. And then I would look at those verses in my Bible and look at the surrounding passages. And Isaiah 40, it had the title in my Bible was literally comfort for God's people. And I was like, all right, this is what I need. So I read through it real quick. I was like, this is some good stuff. And I got my highlighter out and I started highlighting verses that I liked. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to do my own as I go study method with this. And I'm just going to create it as I go. and see how it works best for me. And literally, you guys, this has been the best study method I've ever tried. I've had trouble in the past finding study methods that I enjoy. I've tried the devotional books that has the verses for you to read, and then the author's note to you, and then a place for you to journal. I've tried all that, guys. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm not growing. During this study, it took me, 19 days. I wrote the date I started it and the date I ended it. Over 19 days, I grew more in my relationship with God than I had in an entire year because of the way I was diving into His Word. So I just kind of went with it, and it worked, and I'm loving it still. So on the first page, this one is like the least colorful and exciting page of all, but I literally write Isaiah 40, and then I write what it's about, basically. So this one was on comfort. And then I did a little bit of decorating, and I was going to do more, but this page was just like the necessary to get me started. So I did that page, and then I have not done this yet, but what I decided I'm going to do is I'm going to use my study Bible that I have up here. And at the beginning, let's find Isaiah. At the beginning of books in a study Bible, you can find the history on the book. And so from now on, I'm going to try to find a little bit of history on the passages I read and take notes on that. So here's what it looks like in my study Bible. It has like the timeline at the top and just a bunch of different things to know about the book Isaiah. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to have a history page first. And I wrote it down on a sticky note. I'll take a picture of this probably and put it in the video. But so first thing is history. And then of course you read through it once to decide, hey, this is what I'm going to study. But I read through it. So it's basically the second read through, but I call it read through 1. And I read through it and I just take notes. I use this Bible. So it doesn't have any extra commentary or anything. This is just what God teaches me. And I did some doodles and I added some color. It's what God teaches me through my first time really dissecting the passage. And that becomes your foundational notes. You will use those a lot more throughout the study. I say a lot, it's not really a lot, but you get the point. So you will use those for sure. So make those good. If you have to read through it a couple of times, just take notes as you go. And what is God teaching you just through the words printed on the page? And then secondly, you dig a little bit deeper, I guess you could say, but you devour it in a different way. So I use the SOAP method, which stands for Scripture, Observation, Application, and Prayer. And what you kind of do is you find a scripture that you loved, like you read through the whole passage and then you find the scripture that stood out to you the most that one time you're reading through it. And you write it down. And then you write why it stood out to you that much. And what you found interesting about it or what you found captivating about it and that kind of thing. And I call that my because. Next is observation, and you just kind of read through it. And for me, I kind of just think a little bit deeper here. I think, okay, well, I got all these points before, so I'm not going to rewrite all these points down. But I'm thinking, well, like I write my questions here. I call it my just some thoughts and notes in questions. And in certain parts, I'm like, well, I said, what inspired this? What's the background and the context of this passage in Isaiah? And so I'm just like this is my curiosity observation section, basically. And that can get really interesting, and it's fun. So, next is application A. And it's just some reminders so that you never lose what you've learned. And I usually make little bubble bullet points, and I just write down ways that I can remember the things that I've learned in it. So some of mine that I usually write down are read this often. This needs to be something in the forefront of your mind as I'm going throughout my day. Memorize parts of it and take it to heart, which will be in a later section, a little bit further on. Find more of this in the Bible. So look for more verses on comfort and relate things to each other. Make it pretty and make it your own. And finally, once again, memorize. Memorization, I've learned, is so important because when you're going throughout your day, it's just a time that you can have it in your brain and you're like, in the middle of this test at school, and you're like, God, I just don't know what to do. And he's like, I'm here, I'm your comforter. And he reminds you of these verses that you've instilled in your brain. And it's so good. And then finally, it's prayer. So the prayer I just write out, and I call it my letter to heaven. And I just write out my prayer after this time reading through the passage. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't usually like writing out my prayers, but every now and then it is good. And so in this SOAP method section of studying, I definitely write out my prayers. So, and it just has to be short and simple. It doesn't have to be a long paragraphed pretty thing. Like I literally just wrote and highlighted and colored, and just so that I can know how I reacted to this and how I thanked God for it and things when I'm reading it. Alright, you guys, so I still have a time limit on YouTube, like I said before. So all of this is not fitting in one video. It may actually end up being 3 parts to the video. But I will make sure to upload all 3 of those parts, and I will label them so that you know which part is which and which order to watch them in. I will probably upload this one with 2 parts of just the flip through and how I do it. And then I will upload a 3rd part of me doing it, just so that you can see what my quiet time with this study method looks like for me. But that will probably be a week or 2 after, so that I can have time to study it and record it and actually take it in instead of just writing it down and getting it done. So that stinks. So tell all your friends, tell all your family, tell everyone to subscribe to Christ.coffe.crafts, because we are going to get super fun, super snazzy, and have a lot of fun videos. So we don't need a time limit, YouTube. But anyways, why we have to work with that, we will make do, and we will have parts and we will have playlists on YouTube and just make it all work out.